Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, December 16th. This is Training Wheels, where we go through a daily lesson of A Course in Miracles. And we do it together. We talk about what the lesson means to us. And I not always, but mostly read from a book I wrote quite a while ago called Training Wheels, where I took the daily lessons from A Course and just reworded them in a language that seemed to me to make sense at the time and that was a bit more direct. And although A Course in Miracles, the language is so beautiful that sometimes we just have to read straight from there as well. So for those who haven't joined us, which most of us have, we know the drill here, which is I invite everyone to just settle in. And I usually begin by reading the first 50 lessons, which gets us into more of a meditative state. And the truth is, even the first lesson is still true. And the first lesson is still something that informs me every day. When I think I know what something means, and I actually don't know. So I'm going to turn my camera off and we'll do this meditation together. So settle in, be happy with yourself. There's nothing to do here at all except be yourself as you are, as this holy instant finds you. Know you are welcome, that each one of us contributes to the whole in our own unique way, and that everything that you bring to this meeting is absolutely perfect. So give yourself permission to relax, be yourself, settle in. Let your shoulders drop a little bit and soften your eyes, soften the throat, soften the belly, and feel the energy in your hands, your feet, and breathe naturally. Nothing I see means anything. I have given everything I see in this room, in this place, in this mind, in this world, all the meaning it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. These thoughts do not mean anything. I am never upset for the reasons I think. I'm upset because I see something that is not there. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts do not mean anything. And my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. I'm upset because I see a meaningless world. A meaningless world engenders fear. But God did not create a meaningless world. My thoughts are images I have made. I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things. And I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. Nor am I alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. But I am determined to see. I am determined to see things differently. What I see is a form of vengeance. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. I do not perceive my own best interests. I do not know what anything is for. My attack thoughts are attacking my own invulnerability. But above all else, I want to see. Above all else, I want to see things differently. God is in everything I see. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. I am not a victim of the world I see. Indeed, I have invented the world I see. There is another way of looking at the world. I could see peace instead of this. My mind is part of God's. I am very holy. And my holiness envelops everything I see. My holiness blesses the world. There is nothing my holiness cannot do. My holiness is my salvation. I am blessed as a son of God. God goes with me wherever I go. I am in God. I am with God. I am as God. God is my strength, and vision is God's gift. Love is my source, and I cannot see apart from love. Love is the light in which I see. Love is the mind in which I think. God is the love in which I forgive. God is the strength in which I trust. There is nothing to fear. God's voice speaks to me all throughout the day. I am sustained by the love of my Creator. God is the light in which I see. And today's lesson is, I will there be light. If you are like me, I found this lesson a challenge at first because I thought that it was my will that made the light. So if you feel this lesson is a heavy lift, then please reconsider. God is the light in which I see. I will there be light. The personal mind, the small self, will be threatened by this lesson. This lesson is speaking to the higher self, the enduring, real self that is known by many names, the Holy Spirit, the big self, the teacher, the guide, the true self. This is the will that lights the world. You cannot fail in today's lesson. I will there be light. Only the whole can ever extend from wholeness, and this light which you are is whole. This lesson is a reflection of both your light and your will to know the light within yourself. The will toward light was not established by the small self. It was established by the source. It is shared from source with each and every seemingly separate mind. This desire to experience the light is a decision against the curriculum of the small self, the personal mind, and a decision for the curriculum of the source, of the one love. There's limitless power in the will to change your mind, because your mind is part of God's and you are very holy. My mind changed about this lesson only when I experimented with it and I allowed myself to ask, what does it feel like to experience the thought that my mind is joined with Source? what does it feel like to hear that God is love? What does it feel like? This is the resonance and the tone that the guides speak of. So what does it feel like in the body to hear that God is love, that you are love? What do you notice inside when you say these words? And what does it feel like to hear that love is freedom? And freedom is forgiveness. What does it feel like to hear that freedom and forgiveness are your only function in this experience you call your life? And how does it feel to accept that your function and your happiness are one and the same? If you feel any sense of peace or joy or just excitement in these words, then know that your will is joined with Source. In that moment, it's joined. The feeling of peace is an emotional frequency. It's a tone. Feel it, know it, allow it, and you and Source are in direct communication. The egoic mind, a small self, would have you dismiss these feelings as a passing fancy, as a temporary illusion. The small self will encourage you to remember your grievances and your guilt, calling them reality. But forgive your ego and your small self, the illusion that they are, and all of their arguments for limitation. Forgive them. In this forgiveness, you are willing the light for yourself. You are asserting your will to light and your right to light. And the more we practice forgiveness, the more we become aware that every choice is between a grievance and a miracle. And this is your rise to the awareness of love's presence. So sit quietly for just a moment and repeat the lesson. I will there be light. I will there be light. Sense your way into the words. I will there be light. You might notice a small contentment. You might notice a warm sense of peace. Don't worry if there's resistance or other thoughts that arise. Just watch them come and go. And after you notice each one, repeat the lesson. Use the breath as your anchor. Thoughts will arise, sensations will arise. Watch them come and go. You are the light of awareness in which all thoughts arise and fade away. You are entitled to know yourself, this light of awareness. It is your right. You don't need to strive for anything in these meditations. You just need to be still and watch your breath and be open to anything as you listen with your heart without any effort to whatever presents itself. You are the light of awareness in which all arises. Listen, sense your way into the feelings of happiness, contentment, silence, peace. I will there be light. This lesson and this meditation open a door that cannot be closed again. What is this door? It is the door of awareness to your own power. But it isn't the small self's power. It is your power as God's will, as God's being. When you notice in these meditations that the recognition of your union with your source brings peace, you cannot close that door again. That is your thread to sanity. And every time you notice that thread grows stronger and thicker and shorter until it just becomes one. I will there be light. Rest in God's being. Throughout the day, as often as you remember, repeat the lesson. And join your will with the will of Source, which is light itself. When you're ready, take a few centering breaths and come on back. I love that we're practicing this lesson, and in about 5 days, we will have seen the shortest day of the year come and go. And when I first began to do these lessons, I tried to will the light, but it just wasn't happening for me. And I just felt a block about it because I was still, even though I knew intellectually that it wasn't me, Amy, who was willing the light, I still couldn't get out of my own way. Because this lesson really requires you to surrender your will and merge your will. It really requires trust. And it also requires real honesty with yourself. So if it feels difficult or it feels like there's any barrier or lack of peace, just to make peace with that, to bring all of it to the light. We talked about this the other day, about bringing everything to the light. I'm much more comfortable saying, I am with God, I am in God, I am as God. And then saying, I will there be light. Somehow those words, that little preamble, gives me a bit of a foundation. So, how is this lesson for you? So David says, and then Sandra, I will there be light. We have that power. Light is symbolic of love. Yes, it seems to come from above, but it comes from our heart, where it lives and always is. So let's begin to empower our will and fill all I know and see with the love that I am. Thank you, David. It's beautiful. Sandra and then Richard. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, my friends. Yeah, it's, how was this lesson? It was beautiful. Your voice resonates with these words, and a kind of calm and peace and warm, cozy feeling comes over. and and a feeling of gratitude. And I'm always, I'm not surprised anymore, but I'm in awe of how all the lessons come together during the week, how it flows from through Friday, and how it all links. So I know I was thinking of something. I was thinking of how Monday, which was only yesterday, like it's only yesterday. Time is weird now. But anyway, um, how beautiful it was about love and special relationships. And we were talking about love, and how when I studied the Bible years ago, there were all these words from, I think, the Aramaic and the Greek that were all, they had all these different words for love. There wasn't just one word. And we translate it all into English as one word. And the same for the word God. The original Hebrew had like 5 different words for God. I remember Yahweh, Adonai, just different words. And I think that's why we sometimes struggle. So I was thinking about that yesterday, but bringing this to the light is it's this experience of seeing everything differently. And I guess I have a practical example. The practical example is friendships. And over the years, probably like you, I've had many friendships that come and go. And in particular, what's coming to my mind now was when I was working, I had some very close friends. I had a very public kind of job and career, and friendships were necessary, places where I was safe to just speak my mind. But I had very close friendship, and when I left that job, they went away. And I was hurt. I felt the feeling of hurt. I wasn't hurt, but I felt the feeling of hurt. Like, oh, they only wanted to be with me because of my job. um, and what I learned actually in my 12 step was bless them, change me. And over the years, I just kept, every time somebody, there were like two women from my work, another woman from my childhood, that I felt like they dropped me as friends. And I would always bless them, bless them, bless them. And then I would remember the love I have for them. And I've been doing this for like 15, 20 years. Every time one of them pops into my head, I used to say, I love you. Then it began, I feel love for you, which is different than saying, I love you. Feel love for you. And I just have been loving these women over the years. And then I started saying, or thinking, that came to mind was, um, I know about the quantum field, and I feel like they received that love. They may not know where it came from, but they received the love. Anytime somebody pops into my head, especially if I have a seductive pull to have a grievance, especially then, I immediately change it to blessing and love. And it's become so easy. Now I just love them. And to me, that is willing the light. That's what I'm getting at with this long story. um, it's so beneficial to my own peace, my own presence, the presence. And I really believe in the quantum entanglement. You were talking about before we started about looking at the goats or something, and there was an experiment. I used to do my own experiment. When I pulled up to a stoplight, I would look at the person next to me. I would just look at them and look at them and send love. And 9 times out of 10, they would turn and look back. You know, they didn't hear anything, they didn't see anything, they just felt it. So now this love that I'm sending, just it's miraculous. It's what A Course in Miracles is. It's all miracles. It's all things we did not expect, which don't seem possible in the just plain physical realm. So I'm going to tell you all what happened last night. I sent David a private message. I don't know if you saw it, but last night I'm laying in bed, wide awake, not sleeping, and people popped into my head, and I just started sending love. And guess who popped into my head last night? David. And I thought, oh, I miss David. Where is he? I didn't even go to why isn't he here? It was just, and I said, I'm going to send David love. And I just felt love for David. And here he is.
There are no coincidences. That was, I mean,
The quantum field, the quantum entanglement. It's
right.
like, wow. And it's wows. It's not, it's like you'd think you'd be used to it. I am used to it. I'm not really surprised, but I'm still wowed. So the will to see light, I love what you wrote in here. Limitless power in the will to change your mind, you wrote. See what it feels like Love that, Amy. See what it feels like because I did so much mind stuff. And then I realized, oh, that's not working. I have to feel love. I can't just say I forgive. I have to feel forgiveness in my whole being. And I don't have to do that alone. As you said, for me, when I do the as God, for God, all of those, it's communion. It's not like it's one thing. That's what I love about the word communion. It's complete merging. It's not even sharing like one being to another. It's just communion of love. And I get to be in that. I am that. I just, so this lesson was beautiful, Amy, as all of your lessons are. One after another, week after week. It's just liberation. The guide yesterday used a word that I thought, I'm going to use that word, unfettered. Unfettered, liberated, free, free from grievances. Well, how miraculous is that? No more grievances rubbing against me, pulling me into these other feelings that I still feel momentarily, but now I know the way out. I know the secret sauce. So, David, I love you. I'm glad you're back.
Me too. Me too.
Wow, that was just about the warmest welcome I think I've ever seen. That was great, Sandra. Thank you so much. Yeah, you are just such a light that yourself. I feel it completely. And the lesson God's voice speaks to me all throughout the day. I used to listen to, is there a voice somewhere? Where is the voice? No, it's this sense of feeling. It's nonverbal. It's the awareness of love's presence that just comes. That's God's voice speaking. And it took me a while to realize that, and then to start to cultivate, well, is there another way that the communication happens? Maybe it happens in a coincidence. Maybe that's how it happens. It's just amazing. And so this light, I will there be light. I will the light of awareness arise in me. I will the light of awareness. Awareness is self-illuminating. And that's the light. It's so, this lesson has so many different ways of being understood. And Richard's going to tell us another one, so I'll shut up and thank you, Richard.
What an act to follow. Oh my God, what a wonderful share, Sandra. That was miraculous. I mean, I am so glad to be here. And mine is going to sound rather mundane compared to what Sandra shared, but my understanding of the lesson is not the separate self. It's the one that we all are. We're all trying to manifest the divine. We all want to be the divine manifested. That's what drives us. Now that we're working to what we really are. But this lesson, I think, is the one who had the tiny mad idea that agreed, that decided to experience separation rather than reunion with one. And so that's who's actually willing the light to be present, because it knows, the one knows that it projected sin, guilt, and fear out of the mind as a last split of the mind, and that became the world we experience. That is what the Big Bang was, and that's what created the universes and the planet and the human beings that we experience, we are on this planet. And and what the one mind wants to do, now that it knows it's really one with its creator, and it's trying to fix that situation, the folk come to the real world, he needs to heal the mind that he projected out that became the world. And that then becomes he wants to replace sin, guilt, and fear with peace, love, and joy. And that's what each of us are trying to do in our own way of expressing the divine in through us. And that's why miracles happen. And I love the idea of quantum entanglement, because every thought we have is shared with everything we think is separate from it, because there's only one. And fortunately, there are some that pick up the frequency when we share it. Others who are not ready won't, but they will in time. It may form a crack in their consciousness where the light begins to shine in their mind, so that eventually they will accept the love that is being extended to them. So love is all, and thanks for a great share, Sandra. That was great, and welcome back, David. Good to see you, brother.
Thank you, Richard. Cindy.
First thing I'm inspired to say is, please feel free to take a breath and extend love to me whenever you think of me, because I will absorb it all and send it right back to you. Because there are no coincidences. Sunday night began the Festival of Lights, for anyone who knows that. Hanukkah is called the Festival of Lights. And I've been taking this 30-day healing soul contracts with David Jian, the Kabbalistic teaching, which isn't really Jewish. It's ancient, Aramaic, etc., etc. But beginning Sunday night, it was so funny because I didn't have any candles in the house. I bundled up and went out in the frigid cold to make sure I got a candle. He invited everyone taking the class. Sunday night, it was a little more intensive, but he invited everyone to light a candle every evening and spend some time with it. And very specifically, the practice, which I'm finding very meaningful, is to sit with the candle and bring up. Day one, it was 3 people, and he said, just continue the practice. Bring up the people that had the greatest influences in your life. You know, the names just show up. And allow yourself, whether they're positive or negative, both, it doesn't really matter, to just bring up how they influenced the gifts. You know, and if there were very negative people, what did you learn? What was activated? What beliefs were released? You know, the people, and to, with the light, to just say thank you, to acknowledge the gifts that have been received by the beings that are either in your life or have been in your life, and to say thank you. And it's really that simple. And to do it during this Festival of Lights, which go on for 8 days, and they began on Sunday. So just wanted to share that. I started that Sunday night, and it's been a long time. I didn't even have a candle in my house. You bring a cat into the house, and I removed the candles. But yeah, anyway, I wanted to add that. I'm very grateful to be here. There's a lot of shifts and changing going on here, and I feel very quiet today, but I'm just marinating in the love. Okay. So that's what I got. Thank you. Thank you for being my friends.
Thank you. I love the Festival of Lights. I love the whole idea of light this time of year. I couldn't sleep last night either. I slept a little bit, but I had to sleep in a more upright position because of my vertigo. And I was so grateful for yesterday's teaching with the guides when they said, we'll be with you at night because we'll be working with you. And so I brought them into my whole night where I kind of drifted in and out and in and out. And every time I woke up and awareness kind of came to the forefront, I would repeat the guides' words. I am in love. I am as love. I am love. I am in God. I am with God. I am as God. I am God. I am in the upper room. I am in the upper room. I see all things new. And I did what we did with this lesson, is felt the tone and frequency of the words and the ideas, the idea behind the words, because all of this is an idea. Right? All of material form is an idea. And so I allowed the whole night through to experience the idea behind the words and how it felt in this physical form. And it was one of the most wonderful nights. I dreaded at first going to bed because I thought I wouldn't be able to sleep well. But then practicing this throughout the night, whenever the awareness came forward, was such a blessing. And that itself is a form of willing the light. So that's willing the light. I can say with some authority that I am not the same person I was 4 years ago. And I am so happy to be able to say that. And to share all of this is like putting the awareness, the light of awareness, the light of being, it's like magnifying it and putting it at a quantum level. Super speed when we do it all together, when we share it together and we learn from each other. You know, I started out this, sometimes on Tuesdays I get a little worried that I'm not going to be, I'm not going to fulfill this lesson. I'm not going to give this lesson all that it really deserves. And the thought arose, and then I said, you know, it's not you doing the lesson. Everyone else is doing the lesson too. You don't have to do anything. And isn't it, when Sandra was sharing, I just went, of course. I'm not doing the lesson by myself. We're all doing the lesson. Sandra took this lesson to a place it never could have gone. And I just love that. I just love it. That is such a direct example of how we are not alone. Right? We are not alone, ever, ever. So we're going to be getting together in another hour for 12 stepping. Who's leading 12 stepping today, Cindy?
Linda Joy.
Ah, great. Super. So thank you all. We have 2 minutes if anyone has any last thing they want to share.
I have something to share. Yesterday I kind of got sick. And it wasn't anything big deal. It was, I have cold symptoms and I was sneezing and my nose was running and all that normal cold stuff. So I was sitting there and you know, it was so interesting because when for me, when I get feeling bad like this, or not bad, when I'm experiencing a cold, or it's almost, it's kind of like a holy instant. I mean, it's like all the crappy stuff that I've been thinking about or that's bothering me, or all, you know, this or that, it just kind of goes away. And so it's so like, you know, here I'm sitting here, you know, and the only thing that exists is myself. Now that may sound egotistical, but it's not. And so I have room to experience all the love that I am and that I have, and it's like, oh my God, this is so great. I mean, it's, you know, and someday maybe I'll learn how to do that without having a cold, or, you know, have a snot all over my face. But for in the meantime, it's, you know, and I'm still there. I'm on this high, and it's like, and then I come here, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about how great this was, and so it just continues. So so you know, I'm blissing out, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Oh, thank you, David. I know exactly what you mean. The cold kind of gives us permission to not do anything, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
for that. Thank you. I get it. All right, we'll see everybody in an hour.
Love us.
Love us.